Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Inside View Live with Teddy Panos. I am your host, Teddy Panos, coming to you live for the first time in the 2023 year. Happy New Year, everybody. We're here in the InsideLowell studios in the historic executive building in downtown Lowell. We've got a special guest with us today, Lowell City Councilor Dan Rourke, who we will bring in just a quick moment. Lots to talk about. City Council meeting last night, a quick City Council meeting last night. Nevertheless, some interesting little nuggets that our inside sources are starting to pick up, and we're going to try to give you a little bit of an inside view on those nuggets. Want to start, first of all, by thanking our sponsors for helping make this broadcast and, of course, Inside Lowell possible. Our good friends at Washington Savings Bank, who, by the way, they want to give you $300. It's not going to cost you a penny. Any Lowell or Dracut residents, or as we like to say, hashtag Inside Lowell or hashtag Inside Dracut, Lowell or Dracut residents, special offer. You get $300 simply by setting up an account where you get direct deposits. If you can total $1,000 or more, and if that direct deposits, that means your paychecks, but there are other ways to do it as well. But if you can get $1,000 within 30 days of opening your checking account directly deposited into that Washington Savings Bank account, they're going to give you $300. That's 30%. That's 30% on top of your money. I can try to find $1,000 so I can get myself $300. Go online to WashingtonSavings.com, WashingtonSavings.com, and check it out. They've got all sorts of other great products for you. Cash rewards checking, interest rewards checking, so many great services, business checking. They specialize in one-on-one service. Washington Savings Bank, a sponsor of Inside Lowell. Check them out again online at WashingtonSavings.com. Thank you as well to our friends at Hafner's. This time of year, you know it's coming. You can feel it by this weekend. The cold weather will be here. So I know home heating oil is on the top of your mind, and many Greater Lowell residents, same dealio there. Don't take any chances with your family or your home. Hafner's takes the worry off your mind with their comprehensive services, whether you use propane or heating oil in your home. Hafner's offers quick, reliable, friendly service. Just ask our friend Danielle McFadden all about that. They also offer great options like auto pay and auto delivery to make your life easier. Plus, you know those Hafner's gas stations, the Kicking Mule sign, convenience stores, car washes, they can be found throughout the Merrimack Valley and southern New Hampshire. Call 866-IT-KICKS or visit hafners.com to learn more. Hafners.com, or again, 866-IT-KICKS. Thank you as well to our friends at Reverie 73. I'm constantly asked for suggestions on local vendors, go-to spots all the time. Given how new the cannabis industry is in Massachusetts, folks are often confused about the products, and quite frankly, they have a hard time differentiating one from the other. You're looking at one right here. Not the case with Reverie 73, however. The store itself stands out. You'll notice it right away. It's beautiful. It's bright. The knowledgeable staff is always willing to spend that extra time with you to answer any questions you might have. So whether you're new to the world of cannabis or a canna connoisseur, the team at Reverie 73 is sure to elevate your cannabis experience. Visit them at 1148 Bridge Street in Lowell or order online at reverie73.com. And I want to say thank you and welcome to the newest sponsor of the Inside View and Inside Lowell, our friends at Boston North Company. Literally closed the deal a couple of days ago. Retail services, restaurant services, they've got everything. Point of sale systems, signage, ATMs, small business solutions. Boston North Company. Check them out online, bostonnorthcompany.com. Locally owned, great personal service. I've been benefiting from them for about a decade now at my family's business, Athenian Corner Restaurant, and never once had a complaint. And anytime some kind of issue or problem has popped up, they've been there immediately to take care of it. BostonNorthCompany.com. Welcome to Boston North Company, and thank you for joining our Inside Lowell family. All right. Lowell City Councilor Dan Rourke is joining us in studios. Thank you for patiently abiding by all the sponsor business I have to take care of.
Sponsor, about 5 minutes at a time, which is great. Yeah.
It's like I killed all the time, so now there's hardly any time for you to talk, which I know you want.
I got to text my brother. He wants to know if you're going to close caption this for everybody else. I don't know.
Well, the good
family,
thing,
right? Yeah.
Unlike your radio interviews, is we can actually, if somebody misses, what did he say? They can stop it, slide it backwards, and watch it. We are live, but again, you can watch this at your convenience. News, information, and sometimes entertainment on your schedule, not ours, here at Inside Lowell. So Happy New Year, Councilor Rourke, and welcome. This is our first discussion. You also, I believe, is it today, the anniversary, the 1 year anniversary of the swearing in of the current city council and the new form of government.
It is
in Lowell, right?
Yeah, no, there's a very nice setup in here, and best of luck with everything. And it's different. The council, and being fortunate enough to be on the council prior and be on this council here, you do see some stark differences, but you also see some similarities.
Yeah. What is the biggest difference between the old at-large systems?
Yeah, and I heard Councilor Leahy on your podcast earlier talk about it. You are first and foremost, to your district in certain areas. I think you see a lot of councilors that if you get a phone call from somebody in the Highlands, I would call Vesner or the mayor. If something in South Law, give Kim Scott a call. I had something like Calorie, and I called Eric on it. But then on the flip side, we had something in Pawtuckettville where a resident was going through some flooding, had some water issues, and so I give Councilor Gitcher a call, and he joins me at the house, right? Mm-hmm. So there are some stark differences, but overall, I think that everybody that's serving cares for the overall wellness of Lowell, and so far, so good. How would you rate like the number of neighborhood calls that you get? You were from Pawtuckettville when you served before, but you were an at-large councilor. But I would imagine because of relationships you formed from the neighborhood, you were one of the councilors they'd call first. Have you seen a marked increase in the number of neighborhood issues you're getting now as opposed to previously? No doubt about it. Yes, it's a pretty large increase, and I think one of the benefits of having your email address public and your cell phone number public, people reach out all the time, and there are issues that are big and small, and and it's incumbent on the councilor to do what we can to help remedy the situation. It's something that this is why we ran, and our job is to do, and I'm sure. Like myself, all of my colleagues enjoy doing it. So, when someone comes to you with a problem and you can assist in solving it, it's a good thing. So it also helps come re-election time when you can get results, which here we are. It's January 4th, 2023. Mm-hmm. It's an election year. In September, there will be primaries in Lowell. We believe November, there will 100% be a general election. We here at Inside Lowell, we've been canvassing the incumbent councilors to see if anyone is thinking of not running again. Are you going to seek re-election? Have you made up your mind on that as we sit here today? Yes, I will definitely be seeking re-election. I enjoy the position. I enjoy the job as a city councilor. I really enjoy helping people, and then one of the benefits as well is I really enjoy serving with my fellow councilors. I think as a group, we get along very, very well. There's no hostility, even in disagreements, there's civility, which is great. I think Lowell is headed in the right direction. I'm very happy with the administration. And Tom and his team, the way the city is progressing. And I want to be part of the decision-making future of the city. So you're okay even with all the anonymous emails and text messages that you're getting? Yeah, I get. It's just part. It's part of dealing with it. And you take it all in, and in certain situations, there's nothing that a council can do about it. In other situations, you just do what you can to help remedy the situation. So in a moment, I'm going to explain to everybody why I threw that little, what seems like a completely irrelevant comment in there. But I do want to take a quick moment. I was perusing the Lowell Sun this morning. And of course, at my age, you start to look at the obituaries. And sadly, I saw a familiar name, Sharon, and I realized that it was the mother of the fire chief, Phil Sharon, who passed away recently. And the services are, I forgot when the services were, so I don't want to give the wrong date. But our condolences here from everyone here at Inside Lowell to Fire Chief Phil Sharon and his family on the loss of their mother or sister, or whatever the case may be. Firefighters have been in the news an awful lot
lately, Councilor. And of course, the manager and the fire chief made an appointment of somebody to the call it whatever, the deputy chief or the assistant to the chief. It's basically the number 2 position in the fire department behind Phil Sharon. That was seen as controversial in some circles, and a couple of weeks ago, InsideLowell received a letter that was sent to you as a councilor and all your colleagues on the city council. All 11 of you received a letter from the Firefighters Union Local 853 that was basically spelling out their position on some of the things that were discussed here when we had Manager Golden on, and have been discussed at city council meetings regarding overtime pay, potential sick leave, abuse, and the selection of Dave Keene to that number 2 spot in the fire department. Literally this morning before you came in, I had received word from a number of your colleagues that a text was sent to them, and I'm going to guess to all 11 of you as well, kind of taking a different position from the official Local 853 email that they sent to all the colleagues. Can you also confirm that you received said letter?
I did.
Or
Yes.
it was a text, to be clear, right?
I got both. Yeah.
Okay. The original response from Local 853 has been posted for well over a week now on InsideLowell.com. We encourage you to head over and read it if you have not. What does this text say?
Yeah, so I'll first off by saying that obviously there's some sit downs needed between the administration and the fire department. I think it's unfortunate that the city council is involved in this, because really there's nothing we can do about the operations or negotiations and things like that. I kind of feel like we were dragged into it to a certain extent, and then we did get a rebuttal of some sort yesterday, last night maybe, and it's unfortunate. I think everybody in the city appreciates and loves our Lowell Fire Department. The I guess you would say the assertions that were made in the email. It took me all Christmas vacation to read it.
And to be clear, we're talking about the original email that came to you guys probably 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, and I guess it was interesting to read, but again, there's nothing, in my situation and my purview that I could do about it, and I think I've heard other councilors say the same thing. Last night there was a little bit of a pushback from a firefighter or a group of firefighters that have a different. Maybe a different tone that would have been set. Obviously there's some things that need to be worked out, right? We know that, and I have the confidence in Manager Golden and his administration to get it figured out. He's been dealing with this type of stuff for 3 decades. So, best case scenario is they can go and sit down and figure it out. And because really there's nothing the council can do. So it's rather unfortunate that the council as a whole has been brought into this.
So the text you received recently, and was it yesterday or 2 days?
I think I got mine around 6 something yesterday.
Last night. So right before the council meeting.
It was well placed. Yes.
And it basically did it dispute any of the facts that were in that Local 853 email, or was it? What exactly was this anonymous person? And it'd be nice if we could get a name to it, or a group that was behind it, and we'll certainly effort that going forward. But what did it say?
Basically, it just they said that there was some points in the email that were valid, and maybe the way that the president, union executive board or leadership, if you want to say, how they went about explaining it, maybe there's a disagreement with, something like, the rank and file members weren't, didn't know about it, that was being sent out and things like that. And look at, I have a great deal of respect for the men and women on the fire department. And, I don't think it seems like, just you have to take a side in this, right? And it's something that I don't think any councilor wants to be involved in, and it's just it's a rather unfortunate situation.
So hold on. So it didn't the text from last night did not dispute any of the facts in the firefighter's email, but it did say we don't stand behind it. Is that?
Yeah, so I would say that, without getting too much into detail, is that, it seems like the union and the fire department, they maybe need to figure some things out, and then the manager and the fire department leadership need to figure some things out. Just to put it that way. And again, I hate to say it for the fifth time already, but it's really out of the city council's control, and obviously there's some dispute in some certain areas. So. The fire department always has and always will have my full support. And again, it had nothing to do with my, thinking on the process, but, I think the selection of Dave Keene for the position was terrific. Not to say that any other candidate wasn't deserving of it, but, seeing the work that Dave has done in the community and things like that. So, if that's one of the issues, surrounding the email, then, they lost me there. But again, I don't have a say in it either way.
So it almost sounds like a split within the union, and whoever sent this last night is basically, I don't want to say apologizing, because again, I haven't read it, but they're almost like they're okay with the Dave Keene thing, and they're okay with the councilor's position in this and not kind of interfering, where the email clearly is telling the city council, hey, you guys need to step up here and back us with the manager. And we had your colleague, Councilor Gitcher, last week say that's not our job. They're completely under the manager's purview. We can't get involved as city councilors.
Yeah, and Councilor Gitcher is 100% correct. I take the same stance as he does. And we'll just leave it at that and go from there.
All right. You don't want to pass along the.
Yeah, it sounds like you already know what's going on. So.
I would actually like the full text. I will be happy to publish it. It'll just meld in very nicely with the letter from Local 853, plus our discussion with Manager Golden, Councilor Gitcher, now Councilor Rourke. Hey, timing is everything in life for you. Hey, speaking of the firefighters, they and the Lowell Police Department, last night it was decided, are getting a little bit of bonus pay from the ARPA money.
Yeah, I don't know if it was decided last night. We were given a communication maybe a week or so ago that there was some ARPA money allotted to our fire and police departments, and rightfully so. They were given, how you want to call it, an extra stipend or pay for all their work during the pandemic. Well deserved, and I'm glad that Manager Golden get that done.
That was in the manager's priorities when he first kind of revealed how he wanted to spend that money, but we haven't seen it start to get spent. It sounds like this is the first step in getting it. You're okay with it. You have no issues with the money going to police and fire for. Let me take the devil's advocate here. They were just doing their job during COVID.
Yeah, no, look at, and but there's been precedent established, right? It was an environment that was maybe unknown in history while things happened, and look at men and women that they serve our city, and I've been saying this for a number of years. I really truly believe that we have the best police department in the state, the best fire department in the state, and it's a small. Token of appreciating their work, during the pandemic, I think was warranted, and it was. The manager did separate a portion of the ARPA money for our police and fire, and I don't disagree with it at all. I'm very thankful for their work during the pandemic. It wasn't easy, and they were very much more susceptible to to the pandemic than other people that work from home, and I think that's why the decision was made to do that.
Let me play devil's advocate again. There are some folks who think that money should be going elsewhere. Services, homelessness, other issues, disadvantaged people who were hit hard by the pandemic. How do you respond?
Yeah, and that was one of the emotions last night that was brought forward. When is the process going to begin? For some of our, nonprofit organizations that have worked during the pandemic, and the manager has allotted a certain amount of money for that as well. And I think there's maybe some positions that are available to serve on a board, for the application process and decision process of how that money is going to be spent. I think last night the gist of the motion was a certain timeline of when this is all going to happen, how it's going to happen and things like that. And in most instances, basically, but it turned into a a sales pitch, for a certain organization or whatnot. But, hopefully we get the response back of when this is going to go down, how it's going to go down. And then those organizations that did do, God's work during the pandemic, we're going to help them as much as we can going forward.
There are some groups that are, and I'm hearing the rumblings that, look, the money should already be spent. Other communities have spent their ARPA money or have begun to spend their ARPA money. What is taking Lowell so long? I did not see the meeting last night, and unfortunately our friend Ryan Gilday is arguing, the Lowell Citizen is arguing a case between the state the state Supreme Court, so he's not going to do a meeting so I don't even know what the heck you guys did last night. But are you happy with the pace of the ARPA money? Should the administration have started to already spend this money? Are you in danger of not spending it all before the deadline of 2026?
Yeah, I think what government is very good at is spending money. So that's
spending other people's money. Please throw that in.
That's not a point of contention whatsoever. We did have a change in the manager position. And we do have an ARPA director, and he has some staff that is going to be allotted to him through grant funding. And we do have until the end of next year, December 2024, to allocate the money, and then to 2026 to actually spend it. So there's plenty of time to do so and to get all that stuff taken care of. And I'm happy with the pace that's going.
Okay. It is 10:20 a.m. if you're watching us live here on this Wednesday morning, January 4th. If you're watching at your own schedule, which you're able to do here with all our podcasts at Inside Lowell, want to remind you that you are watching the Inside View with Teddy Panos and Lowell City Councilor Dan Rourke. We'll continue our discussion. Just want to quickly welcome aboard Boston North Company to the Inside Lowell family, the latest sponsor of the Inside View podcast and Inside Lowell, retail solutions, restaurant solutions, all sorts of services, ATMs. If you're doing business in Lowell, Greater Lowell, the Merrimack Valley, you should be doing business with Boston North Company. Find out everything they have to offer online at bostonnorthcompany.com. Thank you as well to our friends at the Washington Savings Bank who have extended a promotion that they were running throughout 2022, which was actually their 135th anniversary of being in business. But this is a special offer for Lowell and Dracut residents. You can get $300. $300. Washington Savings Bank is going to give you $300. All you have to do is open a checking account, or if you already have one open, I guess, I don't know, get $1,000 worth of direct deposits put into that account within 30 days. So basically, have your paycheck directly deposited into Washington Savings Bank. Most of you will hopefully be able to get $1,000 within 30 days. When you do, they're going to give you $300. They're going to give you 30% on your $1,000. Lowell residents, Dracut residents, special offer from Washington Savings Bank, as we like to say, hashtag Inside Lowell, hashtag Inside Dracut. Learn more online at washingtonsavings.com. Thank you as well to our friends at Reverie 73, their mission statement: to listen, explain, inspire, and delight. And they certainly do that, whether you're a canna connoisseur or you're brand new to the world of cannabis. The team at Reverie 73 is sure to elevate your cannabis experience. They are willing to go the extra mile, spend as much time as they need to explain the products, the services to you, answer any questions you might have. Visit them at 1148 Bridge Street in Lowell, right near the Dracut line, or you can also order online at reverie73.com. And last but certainly not least, thank you as well to our friends at Hafner's. In addition to their auto pay and auto delivery we told you about earlier in the podcast, Hafner's offers seasonal budget prepay plans, propane and oil at a competitive price, next day delivery, 24/7 service for their oil customers. Danielle McFadden, our fellow insider, president of the Greater Lowell Chamber of Commerce, and by the way, birthday girl today, Danielle McFadden. If you see her on January 4th, wish her happy birthday. If you see her afterwards and you didn't wish her happy birthday, wish it belatedly. But they will service their oil customers 24/7 and friendly and cost-effective service as well. Call 866-IT-KICKS, 866-IT kicks, or visit hafners.com to learn more. All right, back with Lowell City Councilor Dan Rourke. I did that just so you could have time to go for a bathroom break, but you didn't take advantage of it. Last week, we spoke with City Councilor Eric Gitchier, and he seemed, he didn't pull any punches when it came to what he thinks of the performance of the human resources department, hiring practices, etc. He also seemed to have some issues with the budgeting. The way the manager currently, but especially prior administrations have done their budgeting, and he seemed to kind of like put the CFO, Connor Baldwin, kind of in the hot seat. Your thoughts on the way the budgeting is done? Are you, as a counselor, happy with the way it's done? Do you believe that there are things that need to be improved simply from the way money is allocated?
Yeah, I think one of the benefits of increasing the council from 9 to 11, and going district and citywide, you get more opinions, you get more thoughts on many different subjects. In HR and budgeting, being two of them, I appreciate everybody's opinion on these subjects. And as far as budgeting goes, Connor has always been very, open and available whenever I had questions about the budget. And I've been doing this for 8 years now. I still have questions about certain things. And, you call, you look for an explanation. I do support the manager and his administration, including our CFO. And I think that if you want to fully fund the budget and all the line items in it, I think you may be looking at a $1 billion budget, right? Double-digit tax increases and things like that. I think that was Lowell does what many other cities and towns do. As they follow the DOR recommendations of how to budget a municipality. When you do transfers and things like that, we take it from areas that may not need it, or a contingency fund or things like that, that's how. Lack of a better term explained to me is that's how budgeting is done on a city level. You wouldn't do it, for your house or for your own home budget or your family's budget. But in this situation, this is how it has been done. The city has been recognized for their budgeting, multiple times during my tenure as a city councilor. So, until, I guess lack of a better term, phrase, it's shown that it's not working. I'm going to go along with in support of the way we do our budgets.
It does appear in the case of the firefighters' overtime budget, as back to the firefighters, that it is the cause of some friction, though. And could a simple fix, as in just allocating a larger portion rather than calling it, doing special transfers for overtime and so on and so forth. From an I always thought that budgeting, government budgeting is kind of a shell game anyway. You take a little from here, put it there. You hide something here, you put it there to use blah, blah, blah. But from a perception standpoint, where now you have, as you said, one of your most important labor groups in the city, the fire department, they're kind of in the crosshairs here of somewhat of a PR storm, maybe of their own doing to boot. But would it just be simpler to budget it, accounting for the overtime right at the beginning of the budget year? Should the manager and his administration do that in the next budget cycle? Yeah,
so I think what I stated before is if every department head did do that, I think the budget would be enormous. It would be much more than the $500 million that we do now. But taking the fire department, secular or singularly out of it, obviously the money allotted, the $1.5 million, is not enough for the overtime budget. And that's where I do agree, with Councilors Gitchier and Noon on that. But again, there are issues besides just enough money for the overtime budget. There's staffing issues that are involved. I think we're down still 14 or 15 firefighters. So, when the fire department is fully budgeted, does that bring that number down? So I think that, on one hand, is the budget number low? Yeah, it probably is. But why is it that high? And I think our job as councils and as department heads and as a city manager is, how do we keep money and taxes down as low as we could possibly do, while still providing the excellent services that the city does provide. So, there are, like I said, the benefit of having different people on the council and from different areas and different backgrounds. Things come to light, and it overall, we can disagree on certain areas, but it's for the betterment of the city, and that's something I think that each and every one of us are all in favor of.
It's an election year, as we discussed right off the top. How much of a tax increase are you comfortable with, given that it was about 5.5% last year, which actually, given the appraisals, is much higher to the average taxpayer, residential. Again, it's a little bit, I don't want to call it a shell game, but there's delayed valuations with appraisals and blah, blah. So it's a complicated thing, but how much of a tax increase could you see yourself supporting when you're asked to do that this spring and early summer?
Sure. And I think that, if you just look at it politically, it's the wrong way to look at it. You have to see, whether it's a 1%, a 2%, or a 3% increase, where that money is going to and how it's going to affect the services of the city. I think that the 5.5% was an effort to be made to dot a lot of I's and cross a lot of T's in the city. I think you've seen some of those benefits already with all our line stripings and things like that, and the safety measures throughout the city. I don't think that people mind paying as long as they realize what they're getting for the money that's being spent. I would be very hard pressed to imagine another 5% tax increase going forward. But there are things that have been done already and that are coming along down the line that is going to improve the city and make it a better place to live and work and raise a family. And, I know people have heard the argument that Lowell, locally in the greater Merrimack Valley, has the lowest taxes around. And we probably have the highest population. So if you think about that, it's pretty good. And not to make excuses for it, but, there are things that have to be done. We have to have our snow plowed. God forbid if there's an emergency, you have to have our emergency services at your door within, 1 or 2 minutes. And that happens in the city of Lowell. So, we need to fully fund our school system and provide a great education and things like that. So, I don't think money is being wasted in the city. And, we'll see what the next budget, comes to us and what it entails and if it's worthy of the increase.
You also have to somehow figure out how to retain good employees and fill the positions that are necessary. I believe currently, what are we at, about 60 positions that aren't?
I think a little bit less, but yeah, there's still some left.
I could make the argument that if you've gone this long without them filled, you might not need all of them. But obviously, that's a big number to have unfilled. Is this the right year to kind of rectify that, or the next round of contract negotiations? Because, as you said, nobody wants to see a 5.5% increase again. But if you're talking about raising the salary, especially on the lower rungs, that's a lot of employees, a lot of long-term pension and liabilities and whatnot. Those are the kind of things that really bust budgets. How much of an appetite do you have, and how quickly does that need to happen?
I think actually one of the benefits of the last year's tax increase is that situation you just talked about, right? Is how do we hire, train, and maintain our staff? And that's being worked on right now. I think you'll be hearing something pretty soon on that. How do we retain, our master electricians, our master plumbers? And then on the flip side, how do you bring in apprentices and things like that? And I would imagine that that's being dealt with. And even before, next year's budget is done, that will already be in place. The manager was given a $3.2 million contingency fund, and, a wage study was done with that money. And, we're going to start to see some of, the results of the study. And I think for a very large part, ideas are going to be presented, pushed forward that are going to maintain our employees. And, I've heard Councilors Robinson and Gitche talk about this nonstop is, how do we train our employees to stay and to climb the ladder and things like that. And I think those things are being done as well. So, it's, there's a lot of things like, trash pickup and, I get this in my yard or that, but the small stuff, right? But those are the big picture items we talked about. And this is probably, right at the top of the list, along with homelessness and things like that, how do we keep our staff, satisfied, trained, and to keep them within the Lowell, city workforce.
All right, let's shift gears and end our discussion with some things that are personal to you. I thought of you and because you've been very active in Lowell junior football, and also have been very active in the efforts you and then Councilor Samaras and the group that Matt LaLatcher put together a group and wanting to do the renovations to Colley Stadium to bring it into the 21st century. And I thought of you when I was talking to Congresswoman Trahan a few weeks back, and then the news came out that it officially passed $3 million for the Colley Stadium project in the latest federal budget. You have to be personally thrilled about that one.
Yeah, and I have nothing to do with it. That's all, and Matt LaLasher and, Noel Cregan and Brian Chapman, the Lowell Athletics Activities Foundation, they're getting a $3 million grant from Congresswoman Trahan for that project over there. And if you add that with the $2 million coming, I believe, for a capital budget for the city of Lowell, you really got a great head start over there at the complex. This is something that benefits every child in the city of Lowell, and I'm very happy with the progress that's happening right now. And again, kudos to our Congresswoman and also to Matt and his group as well. They have worked tirelessly on this for a long period of time. They're going to partner with the city, and you'll see activity going over there pretty soon.
Yeah, they've been doing the legwork, but you and Councilor Samaras got the ball rolling with the city of that $2 million. So how much did they need total? Was it $10 million?
So we first started, as most things, we're looking at $9 and $10 million. I think now you're probably pushing 12 to 15. So I'm sure Congresswoman Trahan will be getting another phone call from Matt pretty soon.
I was going to say that's still a lot of money because, once you start those renovations, you have to really kind of finish them. Is your understanding, is this something that can be done piecemeal and make certain renovations, certain improvements, and then as more money starts to come in, you can kind of go to the next level? Does it really, for this project to start, the money has to be accounted for right off the top?
Yeah, in a perfect world, you'd love to just start on one day and end the whole thing on another, but I think the piecemeal option is the way that they're going to go on it. We had a local architect design the whole project over there, and he did a terrific job, and people that have seen it, it's outstanding, and what the future could possibly hold over there. And I'm very excited about it. And again, it benefits every child within the city. So I'm really looking forward to it. And again, congratulations to the people that have been much more involved in it than I have. Any
new updates with Lowell Junior Football? Any upcoming fundraisers or anything new that opportunities for kids in the area? Also, you guys do Lowell Junior Lacrosse too, right? Yeah.
So we had a really I think we had a great year this year. We brought along some new coaches that are getting involved, and all our teams did very, very well. And thanks for asking. One thing I would like to bring up is every year there's the polar plunge that's done on Super Bowl Sunday. Last year we did it for Sean Mulligan, a Lowell resident that was going through an ordeal and a sickness.
Yeah, you actually took the plunge, and your whole family was there as well, right?
It's not as bad as you would think. It really isn't.
I think you're just numb. It's cold. It's cold in July when I'm there on July 4th.
There's so many benefits to cold water, plunges and suppression, right? So jump into the thing of cold water, do you some good. But anyway, this year, we're doing the plunge. Ray Keefe and his organization are doing it for Eddie McMahon Jr. And Eddie's a great kid. He played football for us for 3 or 4 years, if I remember correctly. Comes from just a tremendous Lowell family that has spent their whole life in public service for the city of Lowell. And Eddie Jr. is going through, a situation right now, and we're going to do this for him in his honor on February 11th. And I can forward you the information if you want to put it on the website.
We'll spread it all over our social media and website. He's a teenager, right?
18 years old.
18-year-old kid is the beneficiary.
Yeah, over at the vocational school this year. And look, it's a tough situation. But as Lowell has done so many times, is they come together for people that are going through some situations, right? And Lowell Junior Football is a prime sponsor of this year's event. And again, Ray Keefe has just done tremendous work in this. He's been doing this for a number of years now, and they find a family or a situation that is in need, and this year we're doing it for Eddie Jr. And he's a great kid. We wish him all the best, and we're jump in the water again this year. So, and it's it's not as bad as you think. So, come up there and I'll pass along information so you can put it out there. There's still accepting donations right up until February 11th. We're going to do our part to make it happen.
Cold water isn't as bad as you think. I sat here and listened for 2 days as Danielle McFadden complained about cold showers when her heating tank went empty before Hafner's saved her cold tush.
Oh, so they became a sponsor, right? Yeah.
That's exactly.
Funny how that works.
All right. Lowell City Councilor Dan Rourke, thank you very much. Happy New Year to you and your family and all your loved ones. Looking forward to the year on the council floor and whatever it may bring.
Sounds good, Ted. Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well, and best of luck with this place.
All righty. And thank you to all of you for joining us this morning live on the Inside View with Teddy Panos and City Councilor Dan Rourke. Again, it'll be on our website for eternity, really, and on our YouTube channel, so you can watch it, as we like to say, on your schedule, not ours. We thank you for joining us. Got a lot more programming here on Inside Lowell. Last night, another Power Hour was recorded with our friend Batch and Asa Stutz and their crew. We'll post that online, as well as all the news and informational stories happening here in the Mill City. So check us out online, InsideLowell.com. And with that, time to wish you a great day, everybody. We'll catch you on the flip side.